Hey guys, it's Otti again. I'm sitting here in an online call with Tim from DOODSESKADER. Did I pronounce good?
Hi, yes.
Hi. Hi. Great. So the name is Netherlands, Flemish? Netherlands or Flemish? What
That's
is it?
Flemish.
Flemish, okay. So you are from Belgium, but maybe for the people outside who absolutely don't know what we're talking about, who are you and what's your part in the band, first of all?
Okay, so I am Tim. I am half of DOODSESKADER. There's two of us. It's me and Siegfried who plays drums. I do bass and vocals. Siegfried does drums and vocals. And yeah, we're a weird band out of small Belgium. That's, I think, the resume.
Yeah, weird is a good explanation because you don't do anything that is classical into one genre. You can say it's kind of metal, maybe, but you have several influences. Maybe you can describe yourself. What's the idea behind this?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Siegfried and myself, we've known each other for a very long time, like since we were 14. And both of us have always like made many different genres of music. Like I've been active in like heavier bands. I played in Amara as well. Um, Siegfried did some grunge bands. He's yeah, a jazz musician. And we both of us did like more electronic stuff. I did rapping. Siegfried did more like electro punk or electro clash, how you want to call that. And then when we said, yeah, one day we're gonna start a band, and we waited for years and years and years to start it because it just didn't feel right, and we wanted to really start it on a high note, like knowing what we wanted. But I think we needed to both like mature a bit. And by the time we said we were gonna start it for real, like the main gist of this band is to combine both of us as people and as musicians into this one vessel. But it really means like every aspect of it. And the only way to yeah make it really work is like you can't say ah yeah we're a metal band and then like just toss random shit in there and have like three metal riffs and then a jazz break and then another five metal riffs and then you put like a techno bit. Then it just becomes like a shit show. To I don't know if I can curse on this channel.
Sure,
I'm
sure, sure,
sorry.
you can.
um but we consider it more like a soundtrack of sorts, that like if you have a certain feeling or a scene or an event that you lived in your head and you try to create a backdrop for it, naturally, like if you would say like ah yeah I really feel like I'm losing my mind, well, it's gonna be very unstructured because losing your mind, it does feel like you're losing grip. So what does musically feel like you're losing grip? And then it just translated in that way rather than yeah we're a sludge band, let's tune to drop G and play very slow and stick to this yeah set frame. There is no frame, there is only the emotion. So 1 year it might be one thing, and in 5 years, who knows? You know, if we're doing good in life and feeling great, we might be a reggaeton band by then.
Let's see. And 1 year is a good thing because your releases so far are year zero. That's
Yep.
an EP, I think. Year one was last year, was it?
Yeah.
And now it's year two is out for some days. So maybe I know what the next release will be.
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. But yeah, we've also released like a couple of like non-album singles in between. So we really, I don't know, there like we went ahead when we started, we just decided on okay, we're gonna do the year thing because like we felt like we were changing very quickly as people, as it was like a critical point in our lives. Like Siegfried was about to become a father, so he was, yeah, inevitably gonna go throughout this whole change. And I also felt like, wow, I really need to, yeah, I need to change. Something has got to change because I'm going to towards 30 back then, and I was thinking like, holy shit, this cannot be my life. You know, I really have to figure myself out and do better because I'm not gonna sign up for another 30 years of this shit. So Yeah, I don't know. We started it, and then at the right time with the right mindset, I guess.
I see. But is it planned like this to be every year one big release and maybe more singles in between, or?
Yeah, it's planned and it's not planned. I mean, it's like I said, the year structure, it's really because of like the fact that we're changing a lot. Like I think I changed more last year than in like between 20 and 24, you know, a 4 year span where I was consistently like in the same mental zone, or however you want to call that. Like now it's going really fast. I think that the band also has a big influence on it. And then like the loose singles, like it just comes, you know, like the last one we did was Who Will Pour the Blood on Me, and it was just like I was on tour with Amara. Siegfried helped Samar out as well, so he drove up to like a show in, I think it was in France somewhere, to restock the merch. And that morning I had just like an idea, and I recorded in the shower of the venue with a mic, and I was like, he came in, I was like, oh my God, I have this part of a song. And he was like, well, that's a coincidence because I also have a part of a song. And we just put it together, and we were like, well, this is the story as it is now. This is like what we're thinking right now, what we're going through. And we just decided, like, yeah, we have to release this because it doesn't really make sense to go into year two if you don't see this part of us changing as people, because we want to disclose the full story. It's almost like when a writer writes a book, you can have like the full book, and then you take a step back and you think like, well, now that I have worked with this matter and I have written about it and I have evaluated both myself and other people have evaluated me, I want to create some sort of an addendum or an essay that treats the same subject or that treats a similar subject to make a bridge towards my next work. And I think in literature, it's maybe a lot more common to do these types of things rather than in the music industry. People are like, yeah, you need to have an album cycle and all that bullshit. No, I don't know. We operate very much on a how do we feel basis, and not on a how do we schedule this, because the schedule is insane.
Okay, I understand. So it even doesn't have to be year three. It can be something else if it feels better, the title and the stuff, and everything can change.
I mean, year three is like we're wrapping it up right now. Like
Okay.
it's already in the box, as they say.
Oh, cool.
Like we're finishing up the vocals and some of the production stuff, but like, yeah, we already know what it's like. So it'll just depend on, like, I don't know now how playing year two will impact me, if that makes sense, because it's so personal. Like I always try to explain it, like, you remember when you were like younger and you were in class, and if you had to speak in front of class, it's like a very stressful event because you feel like you're like standing naked in front of these people. And here, like, if by digging so deep, it's not something that I always like want to do in a certain sense, because it doesn't always feel good, because you don't always want to talk about like the more negative aspects of yourself, especially in a very open way. But if you have to repeat it in front of people, and I mean, I can't do it without meaning it, because the words, they come out of my mouth and I look at myself and I have to, once the show ends, the songs have stopped, but the idea is still in my head and I have to deal with that. So that can go many ways, you know. It's can get a lot better, can get a lot worse. So I think if that sentiment needs translating, we might drop more stuff between two and three, but I don't want to plan it, because then it becomes a plan and it's no longer an actual feeling or a translation of what we are.
The emotions that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But the picture of standing in front of a class, it is really cool. Is it, how does this differ, for example, from being on stage, where you are naked as well when you play live? Is it somehow like this, or is it different?
Yeah, to me it's like it's exactly the same. Like I feel like I'm giving this presentation on like why I am like not world's best person or why I'm not doing great, you know? So it's not that I don't like it either. Like it's not like I'm dreading it, you know, like a presentation in class, you're like, oh shit, I have to do this. And here I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to do this. But then I get on stage and the words come out of my mouth and I'm like, whoa, this is yeah, then like 5 songs in, it's like yeah, like almost how do you say it, a red flag on a bull, you know? You just
Mm.
your vision it narrows down and you go into this laser focus into yourself, you know? I think it's also different if you're in a band where you're trying to sell this image of like, look at me, I'm a cool guy, I do cool guy shit and I wear cool guy clothes and I hope you all want to be like me, right? It's different from coming on stage and being like, hey, you know,
Mm.
you could be having a shit day, me too. Hope you're not alone in this, and let's try to find a way out together as a whole.
Mm. And I think it's different because you are two people. Other bands, for example, are 4 or 5 or more people. So it's even more focus on you both. And
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
cool.
I mean, in a way, it's like I play in a band with 5 people as well, and I feel like the focus it's equally spread. Like I don't think we don't want the focus to be on us. It has to be because we have to talk. But if I could, I would crawl away under a fucking rock and stay there for the rest of my life. But yeah, this is now what we have to do and what feels right at
I
the
see.
time.
And totally music, what music depends. Is it like that you can explain what changed between year 1 and year 2 and maybe to next year 3? Or is it organic as well? Is it something you can't put into words?
Yeah, it's organic, like in a way, because we don't make decisions in a weird way. Like it's not like we sit here and then we're writing this thing and we're saying like, oh yeah, we should now incorporate this beat down bit and then we go into maybe a calm bit and then something you know, techno type. It really doesn't work that way because once you start overthinking, yeah, for me, it just does that's not the way that I want to make music anyways. So usually it just starts. We say like, yeah, we're gonna start writing, and we're like in here in the studio every week. So we write a lot, like we rehearse, and then we will like make small ideas or like belt out an entire song. But usually writing a song, it takes us 2 hours to write it and demo the entire song together because I feel like if you spend like 2 weeks or 2 months thinking about something, you start questioning yourself and you start like stylistically manipulating it. Whereas like, yeah, if you just sit here and you have all the tools at your disposal, like year 2, Siegfried just recorded a shit ton of drums because I was like, yeah, I don't want to have a bass record, you know. I don't feel like playing bass right now and be like, oh, look at this riff. Like I'm not a good player. I'm mediocre on my best days, but I have a feeling for what note conveys which emotion in me. And so like I said to Siegfried, like just play some shit that you like. And then he started playing it and he sent like a 25-minute.
Okay.
It was insane. I started listening to it and I was like, whoa, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, what do you do with 25 minutes of randomly played drums? And I loaded it into a sampler and I chopped up bits and I started then playing with that and made other drum parts, like using it as breaks. And then I was like, okay, yeah, now we're gonna write the whole record, bomb. And then I think we did like 4 songs in a day and then the other half in another day. So yeah, it's a no. It's like I said, maybe like I've always said, my goal is to make like the baby I love you type music, you know what I mean? Like the,
Mhm.
you know, but
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm in a place in my life where this music kind of makes itself. But I think if we would feel like better and more confident in a way, it will also translate into the music. So like then we could say like, oh man, we should write these fucking sludge riffs, and we'll be sitting here like, you know.
I see, I see. And maybe you can tell a little bit about, we can't talk about every song, but about the lyrics in general. What are the topics that came onto the record?
Yeah, so basically when we started out, when we did year zero, we talked about ourselves like in the past because we wanted to establish a bit to people like who are we, where do we come from, this type of stuff. With year one, we like dove into the present to say, well, now at this point in our lives, we're doing this and we're dealing with this or going through this. And I think that in a way we decided with that record, like, yeah, what if we try to like fight back through the music, you know? What if we try to purposely say, well, it's shit, but we're gonna use this music to fight against it? And then I thought that it would like amount to year two being this, and now I'm doing good record. And in a sense, like it didn't. So it was kind of a waking up to understanding that things aren't really as black and white as I really would hope them to be. And for Siegfried, I think in his case, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand now, and people can come to here, but they cannot take more from me than they should. They cannot take from me until it really, yeah, destroys me as a person. And I thought I'm doing great, and then halfway through I had this like big I was put in my place. So I think that the lyrics like kind of at the beginning of the record, I think you can see that I'm trying to put things in a certain space and say like, well, I put it here now and I'm gonna leave it and move on. And I think by the end of it, like I genuinely realized that this is what I'm gonna have to do it with, you know. This is like, unfortunately, I'm not gonna wake up and be like, wow, now I'm a, you know, I feel so good and everything is great in my life. And you know, I just have to become this you know, more harmonious with my past, even though it means that I am never gonna be the man that I dream of being.
Somehow hard words, but it's cool that you open that much. And do I understand right? So the record, the tracks are even chronologically somehow. So you
Yeah,
can,
and that was like, in all honesty, that was a coincidence because as we were writing it, like Pastel Prison, the opener was the first one that I wrote, and then it just spiraled from there a bit. With Siegfried's bits, it was more non-chronological. So like horror, the sheer horror is like the last song that he did. But it's, yeah, I don't know. In my case, it was purely a coincidence, you know. It wasn't meant to be that way, but it turned out that way, and I'm really grateful for it because like the last song on the record is like one that's very, very close to my heart. Like it's, I think, the most open that I've ever been in a song. It's something that I also just recorded on a whim. Like the vocals that are in there are just demo vocals. Like I was out here one night, it was very late, I was very tired. I had like finished polishing some of the instrumental and I went out for a smoke. I came back in and then like I just turned on like this shitty microphone and started going, and half of it is like a freestyle type thing that just in pure luck came together. And I listened to the take and I was like, holy shit, I'm never gonna be able to do that again. And then I tried doing it again like 2 or 3 months later because I didn't want to immediately ruin it. and I couldn't, like it just felt too forced. So I spent countless nights cutting out hissing and my breathing that sounds like I've been under severe asthma for half of my life, you know.
Yes. But it makes this song difficult to play it live, I think. And it's so hard to sing.
It's it's difficult and also not difficult because I feel like it's also the one where I think I'm for the first time going towards this like harmonious state within myself that I can, yeah, really try to find strength within all of the shit I have had to deal with up until now. Like it's a negative song in the sense that, yeah, like there's life has been what it has been, but it's also very positive, as in like me just saying, well, guess this is it, you know. It's fine. Like I'm not worried about. I think that's also why I like this song so much, because like I at some point I just blurted it out like, yeah, I'm really not worried about accomplishing anything with this band. I'm not worried about accomplishing anything musically. I'm basically just trying to find out what is wrong with me, how do I fix it, how can I find my place in this world, how can I become more calm and more in control as a person. And like that to me, it's like I'm happy now that like when I play it live, it's the last things that I say before leaving the stage.
Mhm.
So it's also a constant reminder to myself of like, yeah, I'm not doing this for any, there is no financial benefit in this, like on the contrary. But yeah, I'm not doing this for any sort of personal gain. I'm not using this band as a platform to put myself on a pedestal or some weird shit like that. Like I just aim to be open, and I hope in my openness that I can discover more about myself and also like show other people like, yeah, talking is hard, you know. How
Yeah.
many people do you actually talk to? Like a lot of people, like the like even me, like my closest friends, I've been silent for many years, or kept a lot of things that I found very hard to talk about. Like even when you meet somebody new or you're in a relationship with them, you're like, ah, yeah, I shouldn't be saying all this shit because might scare them off, or like I'm having a bad day, but I'm gonna try to keep on this fucking mask and not offend anybody. But in essence, I think that we're all paddling further back instead of really moving forward. Like I think people should have space to to dare to say these types of things. It should be more natural. So I hope that that is like a small thing that I can, you know, contribute in my way.
That's cool. Yes. And it's always like a little bit, don't know the English expression, plakativ, a little bit the expression, but it seems like this is also a therapy for you and
Yeah,
how
definitely.
to did.
It's yeah, it's definitely the most helpful form of therapy I've done so far.
Yeah. And to come to something a little bit different, but the last or the newest newest video single should be Pastoral Prison. You mentioned it, so maybe you can just tell a little bit how about the background of the song and also about how you recorded or shoot the video.
Ah, yeah. Okay. So how this song was made? Yeah, that's the drums that you hear in the beginning is like that's the beginning of the drum madness 25-minute insanity sausage that I just said. So it was 25 minutes of drums and it started with this, and I was like, yeah, okay. Well, that's the beginning of the record, I guess. And I chopped it up, spread it out a bit, then it became that. And I was listening to a lot of R&B at the time, I think, and also dealing with like I was touring a lot. I was away from home like many days, many months, and I missed like genuine connection. Like I know what it is to feel alone. You know, I've felt alone many times in my life. I think all of us have, but this was like a yeah, a different type of loneliness. Like I really yeah, yearned for somebody to be there and to but you know that it's just not possible because you are on a bus or you are in a van or you are on a plane and you play the show, you clean up your shit, and then you need to get to the next one. So yeah, on the contrary of what most people might think, it's not the lavish lifestyle that a lot of you think. It's a lot of no sleep and just pulling each other through it, I guess. So I felt like I wanted to write something that documented that feeling, and I don't know, it started off like that. I started thinking about what is it I want, what is it I struggle with, and at that time I was struggling with yeah the whole social media, how that influences our yeah desire in a weird way. Also, I guess like it's all become I don't know. To me, it's very unclear. It's a very complex thing to navigate.
Mm.
And so I wrote those lyrics, and I came back off that tour, immediately recorded it, and there you go. And the video, yeah, it was. I think when the song was done, I already had a like an outline of what the video should be because I wanted the video to be a reflection of what I'm saying in the song, you know, that you could really like it's like 50% is like a dream type state where you're just like thinking of somebody else or whatever the fuck and you just imagine it being so yeah like a dream, you know, so perfect and so beautiful. I think social media is also like the prime example of that, that everything seems great, everybody seems beautiful, it all,
Mm.
you know, and then like 50% of that song is an absolute nightmare, you know, which is like closer to the truth in my case, you know. It's like the waking up from the yeah the candy coated layer of crap that is on top of the layer of blood, I guess, you know. So I wanted the video to show like the both the dream and the end of the dream, like what is really underneath. And we're very lucky that like we're always working with like the same people. Like we have the same sound guy since the first day. We have the same person that does our visuals since the first day of this band. And like my girlfriend Diana, she does the management of the band and she does the videos as well. So like all of our stuff is tied together. There's like a whole I don't know how you what the word is. Like there's an imagery that is linked throughout all of the videos, you know. There's
Mm.
a level of symbolism throughout it that I have really tried my best to weave through it. And I think that if you the more videos we put out, if you go back even to the very first ones and you look at certain objects or gestures that come back, I think it gives an even clearer picture of what we're trying to get across. So yeah, that's that video in a nutshell.
I think this is my next homework to just watch your videos with this in mind.
Yeah, bless you. It's gonna be a fun. Let me know how much you find. I'm always curious, you know. I'm always asking myself, like, yeah, do people notice this shit, or am I just like completely losing my mind? Like either is possible, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be cool as well because like I don't know how much I should say about this, but like year three definitely is like a more harmonious record. It's gonna be a more harmonious record, and I think it will translate into the videos as well. That like part of the true nature of things will be revealed, and part of the imagery that was bad in a sense will find its way towards something new. So yeah, I'm super stoked.
Okay, cool. And as you mentioned, year 3 is already in the production, but it will come out somewhere next year then. Or do you
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
release
say
it this year as well?
about, I hope, like part of me hopes next year, but I'm also like, we've started a label this year and we're like very much now being yeah, our eyes are being opened to the reality of what it is to put out a record. And like, even if the record is finished, in some ways it's beyond my control to say like, oh yeah, it can come out in 2 months. Like I wish it was that way, but unfortunately, yeah, like it takes time. Like also the development of the videos, it doesn't, yeah, it takes time. Some things take like 3 or 4 days to shoot and then multiple days of editing and that type of stuff. So yeah, I don't want to pressure the people around me, and I feel like to keep a healthy atmosphere, like it'll be there when it's gonna be there, but it's gonna be done within the third year. That's all that matters, and it's gonna be the record that it should be. You know, I want it to be good. I want the videos to be good. So once all that is assured and all the people that need to listen to it in advance have enough time to listen to it, then yeah.
I see, I see. And the label you mentioned, but it's only for your music, or do you want to publish other bands as well?
I think in the future we're gonna look into expanding. I think that like the hardest part about doing this is that like just like with the band, we've set off and just said like, okay, if we do the label, we need to do it correctly. We're not just gonna be like, hey, we're a label on paper and then just order like a couple hundred vinyl, put them in a garage and say like, we're a label, you know, it doesn't really work that way. So we started mounting a whole structure, looking into distribution, all these things. And like, yeah, that's like the main source of why it also takes, you know, that's yeah.
I see. So it's lots of work as well.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
it works out.
It never stops.
And we'll come to an end now slowly, but we have to talk about live stuff. So you are going on stage sometimes next month, and there will be a release party, a release show.
Yeah, we've got a couple shows already announced. I think we have like 20-ish more to go. And yeah, it's like all over the place. Like this week we play Paradiso in Amsterdam. We play Our release show is in Vooruit in Ghent, but it's sold out. So that's no longer an option. We play some shows in Germany, some in France. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up. Like it's crazy. I can barely believe how all of this is turning out, to be honest.
And do you have any special plans for the release show? Something that differs from other shows that you
Something
can talk about?
other shows. Yeah, there's always like, I can't spoil it yet. I think the people here in Belgium that have come to our last show, they already know. Like we always try to make the release show a bit more special than the other ones, because we're like, yeah, I think that a lot of people that come to the release show because it gets announced way before the record is coming out is the people that really want to come out. So we want to give back in a certain way and like do a small extra thing for those like hardcore supporters, or however you want to. I always hate that word. It makes me very uncomfortable, but anyways, yeah, the people that want to be there, I really feel like they should feel that we genuinely care for them. So yeah, it's gonna be special. We're also gonna have, and I'm already gonna spoil this one. We're gonna have like a very special edition of the record at the release show, like a very crazy thing made by Le Septième Oeil, who is like a master in special editions of records, basically. So keep your eyes peeled, because that's it's mind-blowing what he has made. I can't wait to I wish I could show it already, but I have to wait to the release show period to show it to everyone.
You can show it to me when we talk the next time.
Yes,
Yes.
gladly.
And maybe one thing about playing live, we talked in advance of this interview a little bit privately, and we talked about people in France and stuff. Did you ever experience any difference between, for example, Belgium audience, Netherlands audience, French audience, German audience, or is it everywhere the same?
I mean, it's funny because like I think I've seen like many countries now, and to me it feels like, yeah, okay, there's always like minor differences between people, especially in like the reaction, like when a song stops, the way they react, it's very country dependent. But as much as people are different in ways of reacting, that's how similar they actually are as people. So that's, I don't know, I found that crazy. Like it's only a small behavioral thing, you know, like some people will be like, some countries are louder than others. It's just a fact of life. Some are a bit more stiff, you know, like they will not move as much, and some are very extravagant during the show. But the thing is, all of these are equally likable also. Like, I always find it weird that people will do this whole thing where they will say like, oh yeah, this is a better crowd than that one, or like the whole bullshit when bands go on stage and they're like, yeah, whatever name of city X, this is our favorite show of the tour, or like, you're the best country ever. Like, it's like, I don't know, I've seen many countries, many people, and I can tell you like they're all amazing in their own right, you know. So small differences, they are there, but like on a personal level, it's a lot more similar than you might think, you know. In the end, we all want the same things in life.
In the end, we are all humans.
There we go.
And now maybe you have something free you want to tell the people outside for the end of this interview.
Yeah, I mean, if I only get to say something extra, I would say thank you to everybody who has like picked up our record or listened to it. It's very overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie that so many people listen to it. I think it's awesome. We put a lot of ourselves into it, and yeah, to be supported in this way, it really, it does something to us as people. Like it is something that I can never truly express how grateful I am for it, you know. But I really want people to know that I'm not saying this as a sales pitch, or I don't have like the manager with a knife in my back saying like, yeah, thank them, you know. This is really me saying from the bottom of my heart, like, I know what life can be, and I know what all of you people make my life to be, and I'm super grateful for it. So thank you.
No better ending for this one. So thank you for the great talk. Thanks, guys outside, for watching, and check out DOODSESKADER.
Yes.
I got it. And watch the social media and stuff. And see you next time. See ya.